Hello, scholars. In this lesson, we're going to learn to compare decimals. What I have here is two cookies. One of them was eaten by Caden, and the second was eaten by Jackson. So Caden has less of his cookie than Jackson does. So he has 4/10 of his cookie left, where Jackson has 7/10 of his cookie left. So to compare these two, we're going to use the symbols greater than, less than, and equal to. So when we look at this, we can see that Jackson's cookie has more left than Caden's cookie. So we always want the open end of our symbol to face the larger amount. And to read this, we would say Caden's cookie is less than Jackson's cookie. Moving down to the decimals, 4/10 is less than 7/10. Now, if we wanted to look at this on a grid and use a model to do this, over here we'll put our 4/10, and over here we'll put our 7/10. Now, to display this on the model, we're going to take 4/10, since this is our grid of 10, and we're going to fill in 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 7/10, we're going to fill in 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we can see that 4 is less than 7. And this would be said as 4 is less than 7. Even looking at the models, we can see that 4 is less than 7. So now, to compare these using a place value chart, we have here a place value chart, and once again, let's bring our Caden's cookie and Jackson's cookie amount left onto this sheet. So we have our decimal point right here, and so we see that our decimal point will be right here on our place value chart. The 0 is in the ones place, so we'll write that in the ones place, and the 4 is in the tenths place, so we'll bring that 4 here. In this number, 0 is in the ones place, and 7 is in the tenths place, so we'll bring that here. Now, using the place value chart, we start all the way to the left. There's no thousands, hundreds, or tens in this number, and in the ones place, they both have zeros. So far, both of these numbers are equal. Then we have our decimal point. Then we have our tenths. Now, in the tenths place, one of these numbers is larger than the other. The 7 is larger than the 4. So when we look at this, we can tell that 4 is less than 7, because in the tenths place, the 4 is less than the 7. Let's look at hundredths. So if we have hundredths, we have our grid here, our model, and we have 85 hundredths, and let's say 32 hundredths. 32 hundredths. Now, it might be a little bit confusing as to which one is larger. As a matter of fact, Let's make this 37 hundredths. We can't look at the last number to do this, to compare these two. We have to look at the tenths. But before we're really comfortable with how to use the tenths, let's go ahead and use this model. So we're going to take the 8 in the tenths place, and since there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 columns, we know, just like on the tenths grid, where there is only 10 spaces, we can fill in 8 of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the fifths, or the hundredths, the 5 in the hundredths place, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So all of this is filled up. Let's move over to the 37 hundredths. Again, since this is in the tenths place and there's 10 columns, we're going to count out 3 of the 10 columns. 1, 2, 3. Now, in the hundredths place, we'll count out 7 of the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we see that there is more here than there is here. So we would say this as this group is greater than this group, or 85 hundredths is greater than 37 hundredths. Let's go look at our place value chart again. Over here we had 85 hundredths, and over here we had 37 hundredths. So let's place these on our place value chart. The 0 in the ones place will go in the ones column. We have our decimal point. Then we have an 8 in the tenths. So we'll place an 8 there. And the 5 in the hundredths place will go in the hundredths column. We'll go ahead and do the same for 37 hundredths. Now to compare these, we start on the left and we look at the ones column. They both have zeros, so in this column they're equal. We have our decimal place, then we're in our tenths. In the tenths column, the 8 is more than the 3. So we know that this number is more than this number. So what symbol do we need to use? Well, if we read this like a number sentence, we read this as 85 hundredths is greater than 37 hundredths. If the numbers were reversed, and the 37 hundredths was on this side, and the 85 hundredths was on this side, we would say 37 hundredths is less than 85 hundredths. And that's how you use a model and the place value chart to compare